Who are the top 10 characters in the Pixar universe?
With a legacy now going for nearly 30 years, there's a lot to choose from. But who makes the Rushmore? Stay tuned until the end.
Hey, screeners, how you doing? It's me, the one AJ, Anthony Jordan.
And me, Nico Leroux. And we're going to start this week with a sensitive apology. Because we originally had planned to do war movies. Because coming up this week, it is Remembrance Day. However, the sensitive one of the group correctly reminded me of a certain conflict going on in the East and yet another conflict going on in the Middle East and said, maybe not the best time to talk about war movies.
Yeah.
Also, YouTube would strongly demonetize us for doing that, as AJ picked up on. So,
yeah, it's just not the right time, guys. It's not the right time. Will we do one? Yes, because there are some great movies out there, but what we don't want to look like is warmongers in the middle of everything that's going on out there. When stuff starts to calm down, you know, we hope for peace in the East. But what like no puns and jokes in that, like just yeah, when things settle down, that will be a topic. So if it's something we have advertised, we are like, yes, there's a slight change of plan. Yes, it had, especially on my side, I've not had a chance to delve as deep as I wanted to. There's still a few Pixar movies out there who may have made the list if I had the chance to watch them properly or rewatch them and stuff like that. But there is a list nonetheless, and the silver screen dudes are still delivering.
Cool.
Yeah, that's the one. Now, I should have asked you this before we press the record button. Before we ask everyone what it's all about, I just want to know what preamble I'm doing. Have we got 2 polls? Have we got 1 poll? I'm lost because we've done a bit of silver screen time traveling at one point, and I don't know where we're at in terms of polls.
That's actually a very good question. Let me have a look on that right now. I believe it's just the one. One of them has been lost. One of them has been lost in the void of the multiverse.
Quantum Mania, baby.
Yeah, literally.
Are we going with the live poll?
If I can, well, I think we're going to go. I've got I've got them both handy. If you want to go through them,
I tell you what. For the essence of time, I'll let you do your spiel, and then I'll just let you announce the winners, the contenders, and the winners, just for the essence of time, because there was 2, and we can't have AJ try to guess 4.
We are only doing one.
Number 1, and we'll go with that.
We are only doing 1 poll, and that will be the non-live poll.
Okay, cool. No problem. So now that we're back in the room,
I believe I forgot to. Yeah, I completely forgot to message JT about that.
Yeah. Let's not throw that too much. Pun intended. Right. Okay. You got it. Okay. And no 12 monkeys involved in that either. Anyway, enough of the stupid jokes then. Would you like to tell everyone what the Movie Mount Rushmore is all about?
Yes, it's a show all about sensitivity where we don't talk about war when war is going on. But also, it's a top 10 show between 2 best friends from school. Here's how the show works. We get assigned a topic, we go our separate ways, we compile our individual lists. The other person doesn't know what the others picked. It's really simple. And then we come back right here into the recording, into our lovely YouTube channel, the Silver Screen Dudes. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we deliver to you, the Silver Screen Dudes, our film family, our individual top 10s. This week, AJ will go first, delivering his bottom 3. I will then deliver my bottom 3. AJ will deliver his next 2. I will deliver my next 2. And then we will trade 1 apiece when we get to our top 5. If at any time while we are running off our individual top 10 lists, one person has a movie in a higher position, that person will say,
punt.
And we will punt and talk about that movie when we get to the high position. And once we have both rounded off our individual top 10 lists, we will create, in the voice of the dearly departed RIP Matthew Perry, the voice of Chandler being the movie Mount Rushmore. These are the 4 quintessential diverse must-see things, movies, characters of the genre, which this week is
top 10 Pixar characters. Now, small caveat, guys, we are only using 1 character from a franchise.
Mhm.
It does kind of. The only exception is if you found a worse character, but it's not to say that we can pick every fish from Finding Nemo, every toy from Toy Story, every vehicle from Cars. It's not going to happen.
Shit,
And
you mean
that
I? Oh
somewhat
damn it!
makes it
And there's
difficult.
me swearing. You mean I can't pick all of the sharks?
No, you know, just Bruce. That's it. Like it gets very difficult because some films have a duo, and now to say it has to be you and not you really sucked. If I'm honest, it really sucked. Sometimes I felt like maybe it could be a tag team, but no, we've gone down the one character route, and that's that. So it is essentially top 10 movies, but it could also include a franchise, as I said. You know, your Toy Stories, your Findings. Yeah. Anyway, you get the idea. So what happens after we've done that? We, the Silver Screen Dudes, have the ultimate challenge of creating the Rushmore, but it gets even tighter because you, the screeners, have to crown El Capitan, El Numero Uno, the best of the best of the best, sir. With honors, sir. And to quote Highlander, in the end, there can be only one. And how do you crown the one? Well, you head on over to X. You go over to @MovieMT Rushmore, the official X page of the Silver Screen Dudes. But more importantly, there's a guy that retweet. Good old Jate, yes, JT of We Love Movies @Movie Polls for you. And that's there. You're going to get one vote, and then you get to crown the winner. Last week, our topic was.
Oh, by the way, the Highlander remake is happening, starring Henry Cavill as the Highlander and directed by Chad Stahelski, the director of John Wick.
Oh, nice. And I know Henry's got some sword experience from The Witcher, so make it happen.
He does. I mean, he's just living his best life. But yes, last week, our topic was the best movie adapted from a Stephen King book, excluding The Shawshank Redemption.
The contenders were
The Green Mile, Stand By Me, The Shining, Misery.
These are some contenders.
Contender
Fourth place, Stand By Me.
ready.
Fourth place, Stand By Me.
No.
Misery.
Yes. Misery only got 12%.
Okay. Stand By Me in third place.
Just Stand By Me came in at third place with 25%.
Okay, don't let me down here, guys. The Shining at number 2. How you? All right.
Green Mile came in at second with 28%. The Shining, 35%.
Congratulations.
Told you.
It's not my film, but hey, it is what it is.
No, it is not your film, is it? Oh, dearie me. Right, Monsieur AJ, what have we got in at number 10 for you?
Yeah, in at number 10, I like to see this film as Pixar's answer to The Lion King. And I was torn between Spot and Arlo. But yes, I've gone from Arlo from The Good Dinosaur.
I'm very, very happy to see this in here. I think this movie is criminally underrated.
It really is. And, you know, like you get vibes of The Land. Funny enough, The Land Before Time. Funny when I was showing it to the other half, and she was like, this is literally The Lion King, isn't it? And I was like, yeah, I didn't realize how much Lion King. I know that there's the white. What is it? White. What is it? Kuba? The white lion
Kimba.
or something?
Kimba.
I'm very aware that there's a lot of theft in that, but the more you watch The Land Before Time and The Lion King, you're like, whoa, this is a lot of similar territory. And this is just something different. You know, we're seeing what happens if the meteor missed Earth and the dinosaurs continue to exist. And what does man become? And man is now the pet, and dinosaurs are their own thing. And Arlo as the fearless, the fearful young. I want to say cub. I don't know what you call a baby dinosaur apart from baby dinosaur. But yes, the young baby dinosaur who is always fears everything. And dad is on the way to help him out and passes away. And through the blame, he runs away through guilt. And he comes along Spot, the baby caveman, reckless and feral as he is. And this bond between them just creates an awesome friendship and it's a coming of age story essentially through the prism of a dinosaur, and I was really touched by it, and I really enjoyed what I saw. I remember my nephew, who previously we had high hopes of him being a Silver Screen Dude in training, but hey, things change.
Yeah, that all went a bit wrong, didn't it?
Yeah, we got that so wrong. Hey, kids grow up, they don't want to be like their uncle anymore. They've got their own identity.
You are not you. You are me.
exactly that. But look, well, yeah, take that aside. I remember him saying it was a really emotional film. Like for him at that age when he watched it,
For
it
sure.
got the emotions running. And I get it. I get it. Did I shed a tear? No. Was it touching? Hell yeah. And it's one of those precious Pixar movies that doesn't get enough love. So I
It
had to
really
definitely.
doesn't. I'll say this, mate. It nearly got me. That
No, I
scene with
understand it.
that scene with the sticks really nearly bloody got me.
Yeah, it's a
Like
touching one.
these two characters who do not understand each other, but who have gone through a similar life experience, are bound by that experience. And it just shows the universal truth of we all go through the same shib. I thought it was a stroke of genius, that scene. What a wonderful way for two non-speaking to each other, at least, characters to show that, hey, we've both lost loved ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Genius.
No.
Absolute genius. Love it. Well done for putting it on. What is your number 9?
My number 9 is a fresh film for me. You mentioned it very in passing in our news show when you were talking about Pixar movies that don't get love. Yeah, I'm talking about good old Mei Mei / the Red Panda. We're talking Turning Red, baby. We're talking
Damn right.
Turning Red, and I'm going to be very honest. There was another character that was in that number. It was actually number 10 previously, and I was watching this one, and I had made the list. Yeah, Arlo was number 9 at the time, and there was something about the magic of Mei Mei that made it elevate a bit more. I might say, I really enjoyed the film. I think I could on a second watch. I'd love it a bit more. I'm not saying there was hype in it because there was no hype. The film was missed, but I feel like it is something that needs to be seen by people because it is a hint of Pixar genius. And again, I believe it's coming of age once again in this one. It's embracing who you are and following your path. And for any young listener here, I'm being very careful what I'm saying. Not always going down the route that your parents have as a line of expectation for you. Sometimes you have to break the conformity and the norm to find who you are. Okay?
Yep.
This is coming from two guys who have just crossed the 2,000 follower marks, where people go, don't you think you're a bit too old for this? Don't you think your time has passed? Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't, but we're still going on that journey. Yeah, feel free to swivel on that, what he's just put out there for you. Like, you can live your life and be you and still have a relationship with your parents. Now, I know in certain circumstances, people have broken from the norm and it doesn't go that way. So I'm very cautious in saying, do you? But this journey showed that essentially that this is very linked to menstruation, but at the same time, it's not, and it's this whole, when a lady becomes of age in this family, she turns into a panda, but you must now tame the panda.
Yeah.
It must eliminate the panda. And do you know what made me make Mei jump into this list and climb that rank higher, even though there are more lovable characters along the way for me? Spoiler, it was near the end. All I'm going to say is concert without spoiling anything. It's the concert. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, you go, girl. You go. Like, that's what got me for it. And that's what I was like, because at first I was like, great film, but she's in at number 11. No, she jumped a couple of hurdles on this because I was like, well done, Pixar. You showed something that I was really into there. Well done.
Mm-hmm. Well played. Okay. I'm so happy you've seen it, mate.
Yeah. I will be rewatching it again because, again, I was like, I need to watch Turning Red. There was another film I watched, but I was doing other stuff, so it hasn't still made the list, even though I just completed it. In at number 8 is a very funny one, right? Because I'm going to quote the film, and I'm sure everyone's going to jump in at, it's going to be this, that, and the other. It's one that you don't have a lot of love for, The Incredibles. Now, I know some people are going to be like, Miss Incredible, Violet.
Are we punting the movie or the character?
Oh, I'm going to say the character. Maybe it's a punt then.
Okay.
Just
there may be no punts then.
I'm going with Baby Jack Jack.
Is he a lead character?
Well, essentially, probably not. But by the time you take Incredibles 2, he probably is. which is a bit of a blip of a movie to me. But
Yeah,
look,
completely,
it's part
right?
of the family. Coming in.
Yeah, I'm saying I agree. It's very much a blip of a movie.
You've got Incredibles higher up. If it is, I don't mind punting.
Is it higher up? Let me have a look. My Incredibles is at number 9.
Okay.
So
Right.
talk about Jack, and then we'll just cut over to
Here's
me.
the thing. While you have all the other characters, and I was nearly down the line of I like the brooding characters. So Violet nearly made it. Jack has all the not Jack. Dash has all the characteristics of both your speedsters. He's got a little mouth on him, and he nearly made it. The parents are cool, but not enough for me. Jack was always just there in the background and elevates. But it's that last scene at the end where he is the baby who takes out the bad, who just starts showing every element. They were like the baby who doesn't have powers. And it's like, whoa. Now, for me, when it comes to secondary characters, and here's a spoiler, it's the kid at the end who sees everything that the Incredibles has done. It's like, that was totally wicked. Like, I love that kid. He was just like, he was quotable to me by the end of the movie. Like, in the period of Incredibles, he was my like potential spirit animal. But there was something about Jack where we've got all of these characters who are adapting their powers and had to learn to suppress it. And now you have Jack's a bit like Milo in The Mask. You know when like you try to control it, but you can't. Like he's got nothing in the beginning, but when he does, he delivers everything. And I just loved Jack for it. Again, Incredibles 2 is a bit of a blip for me, but I remember like, yeah, oh my god, he's flaming on, he's doing this, he's doing that. My god, this is the but like we saw hints of it. You know, like, he was like when he was being babysat, and you can see him like doing like telekinesis and stuff. Like Jack's the baby, man. Like big up Jack. So yeah, he had to get it. But because I wasn't sure if he was a primary character, that's why he's so low. And obviously the amount of time he had screen time.
Jack's the baby.
I'm not going to say it's the man, it's the baby.
I like that. Jack's the baby. That's very funny. Oh, okay. So that was your bottom 3, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, man. You're not going to like my number 10, but I'm afraid I have to do it. Remy from Ratatouille. So,
punt.
I know AJ has an issue with this movie. Punt. Oh, it's a punt.
Punt. It's a punt. It's a punt.
Oh, you haven't?
It's a punt, and just leave it as that, okay? Let's just move on.
Such a dickhead. All right, fine. My number 9, coming back to The Incredibles. Although I agree with you that Incredibles 2 was a bit of a blip, you ready for me to say something really unpopular? Yeah. Incredibles 1 was also a bit of a blip for me.
Look, everyone has an appreciation of films. I did fall in love with it. But if it's not for you, it's not for you.
Nothing for me. Like when people say that, oh, it's the best Fantastic Four movie, I'm like, wow, we're grading on a curve, aren't we?
But they're not wrong. They aren't wrong.
They're not wrong. Triple H is the greatest booker in the world since Vince. I'm sorry. When the bar is really low, saying that something's better, it's like, yes, and water is wet. That still doesn't make it great. Is it the best Fantastic Four movie? Sure. Did you see the other ones? This isn't high praise. If this was like, but here's the weird thing. Some people say this is... I've legitimately heard, and this is high praise. I don't agree with it, but it is high praise. I've legitimately heard some people say, forget best Fantastic Four movie. This is the best Pixar movie.
There's a lot of people who would wave that
There
flag.
is a lot of love for it. And I am not hating on this film. I think it's vastly overrated. But remember, I'm the guy who says overrated doesn't mean bad. I keep saying that. I could love a film and still say it's overrated. Yeah, I think it's quite by the numbers. Do I like the idea of your kind of... Does it have moments that I like Edna Mode? I think fantastic. The part where Jack slaps Daddy awake, or like they changed math. How can they change math? Like it has moments that I truly do appreciate. But in all of the franchise, I thought what they did with Elastigirl in The Incredibles 2 was freaking great because they completely subverted my expectations of where the movie was going. The Incredibles 2 was her movie. The family, yeah, Jack was cute. The dad had to become a stay-at-home dad. The family effectively got relegated to the sidelines. It was basically the Elastigirl movie.
Do you know
And
what
I was
Elastigirl kind of reminds me of?
Go on.
A bit like Jamie Lee Curtis in True Lies.
She's not that hot, mate.
I'm not talking the hotness. I'm talking about the role.
I'm
of
sorry.
Where...
You tell me Jamie Lee Curtis in True Lies. Where do you think my mind's gonna go?
Right, then he goes to one place.
It literally does. Like, I get what you're saying. Is like the wife has to become like the spy. Yes, I get it. But like, boy, you can't be saying things like that.
Some people, not that I co-sign to it entirely, but do talk about Elastigirl's peach
Booty.
There's a lot of love for it out there.
Listen, she has junk in the trunk. Of this, there is no doubt. But I thought what they did with her in The Incredibles 2 was really cool. Really, really cool. I had time for Elastigirl, although the movie wasn't great. So that's my number 9. My number 8. Of the Pixar franchises, I would argue that this is their weakest, certainly. But a character arc that I actually thought between 1 and... Forget the second movie, but between 1 and 3, I actually thought, okay, I like this. Lightning McQueen.
Oh, this is your number 8, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, because I have a character from Cars as well, but number 7. So
okay,
go with it. It's not Lightning.
So what I liked about him is that it's kind of the Rocky story. Not so much Rocky 1, but more the later Rockies where he's coming, especially in Cars 3, where he's coming to terms with his limitations. And I was like, okay. As a guy who's getting older now and who used to be a pro fighter and who can't do that stuff anymore, I see where you're going with this. And I actually kind of like it. It's a 6.5, 7 out of 10 franchise. Well, 1 and 3 are nothing more than that. But, you know, the first one where he's got to, you know, he's full of energy. He's the young superstar, but he doesn't have the skill set yet to be the master. So we learn that. Okay, now we come to the third movie. He's the master. But he's getting on. The master has started to weather. And this new upstart comes along. It's good.
I don't know if I've seen number 3. I've enjoyed 1 and 2. I actually don't hate 2.
2.
The first time I watched 2, I thought it was dead. I watched it a second time and I didn't hate it as much. But I don't think I've seen 3.
Could not do 2. It was not for me. Yeah, I didn't get the hype behind 2 at all. To me, it was just like a meta movie crossed with spy. And I'm like, why have you done that? But I think there's a very interesting arc that they're telling with Lightning McQueen. You know, the young upstart superstar who has to still get his victory from the old Sea Dogs and manages to do so successfully. And then in the third one, coming to terms with the fact that he's not the hottest car on the block anymore. I liked it. It resonated with me. So he goes in at number 8 for me.
Nice. I could work with that. So the person you quoted from number 2 is the character that hit for me in number 7. I am talking Mater.
Oh, this
from the Cars universe. You don't like him?
No, he's an annoying. He's an annoying.
Oh, there we go.
Putz.
But it was the annoying putz that I liked about it because I found him to be. I tell you what it is, and it's stupid as ever. But anytime I think about Cars, I think about the line where Lightning goes, "I'm doing it for the Piston Cup" or something like that, and he went, "You what in his cup?" And it was like, it obviously was appealing to the older generation, like we all know where it's going. But it, when you've got these superstars that are your people, like your Lightning McQueens and your XYZs, there is that person who helps ground you. And that's what I like about Mater, is that he is the annoying part. He is, for better or worse, you could even
AJ, are you saying you're my Mater?
I did not say that. I didn't even. Do you know, the more I started, I was like, this is going wrong, because he said he's been down that career, and I'm the humble one, the emotional one who said, let's not do the war movies during everything. And I'm like, that's not. But are you calling me a putz by that definition, you? Hey, curveball in that right back. Yeah, no, but there was that element of groundedness that I like about Mater. That, yes, you could call him the Jar Jar Binks of Cars. Essentially, he's that, meant to be lovable but very annoying in the same breath.
Very good.
But he has this redeeming quality that helps keep everybody else around him grounded. You don't necessarily need a Mater around, because sometimes he's more of a hindrance than a benefit. I get that. But he has the strong qualities, and he also did, for his stupidity, did give me some comedic value. And that's why it made it for me. Like, again, Cars is a bit of a blip as well, essentially, to me as a franchise. So much so that I can't even remember if I've seen number 3. I find them watchable. I find it weird that Planes was from the same universe, but done by Disney and not by Pixar. And there's a short called Boats that's somewhere on YouTube, but I still don't know who owns the rights to that. So I enjoy the universe, but it's not great to me. It's not something I delve immensely into.
It's not great. It's not great.
Yeah.
The whole world and the whole overall story they've built isn't great, but I thought Lightning McQueen's arc was interesting between 1
Well, that I appreciate. But, and again, for me, I can't even remember number 2, but I remember thinking, oh, it wasn't too bad. I'm talking Mater from number 1, from Cars 1, who he was as the annoying, I don't want to be racist or territorialist. He was the annoying hick. That's who Mater was. You've got your LA superstar, and he's coming to Bumpkin Town, and there's this little hick who's just winding up. But there was a redeeming lesson in there by having Mater, and that's what I appreciate about him. And that's why I made my number 7.
She just wants me from my body.
Right.
Flat.
I'm not gonna lie. My number 6. I know the movie is at number 6. I'm still torn as to who is number 6. I'm going with the image that I've got. Part of me says, scrap that and just go with Baby Boo. But right now, I'm sticking with Mike. I'm sticking with Mike, and I've taken a picture.
That's your 6, yeah?
Yeah.
He's my 7.
Okay, so we both went with Mike.
Yeah.
Tough call, though, isn't it?
Both not. Really?
Do you know what? For all the love
when you actually consider the movie is more about Sully and Boo than it is about Mike, it's very interesting that we've both gone with Mike.
Yeah. Do you know what? As much as I love John Goodman as well, I think Billy Crystal's voice just helps tip the scale. Honestly, I feel
literally
that was
why I was that too.
For me, it does it, and there's some. Again, for all of it, it's the underdog. He's the negatives of both Timon and Pumbaa. You play the game. No, but it is, isn't it? Because he's got the leader characteristics of Timon, but he's more. Yeah, I suppose he is Timon. I don't know if he's got what Pumbaa parts I'm thinking of, but there is stuff about Mike who thinks he's the leader. Even if you take Monsters University, he tries to be that guy, but he is somewhat. I suppose Pumbaa was because he's more the underdog as well. He tries to be the leader, and he eventually does, in a way, become it. But as you said, Sully and Boo still own it. But there's something just lovable. I can't even picture what it was. I knew Monsters University. Monsters University is essentially Revenge of the Nerds in animation.
Completely. It literally is that.
I know. It is that. And I don't know if you could do better than me on this one, but there's something about the film that said it's number 6 and it had to be Mike.
Dude, I'm kind of. I mean, I would lean more Monsters Inc. than University, but as you said, you were
Again,
just doing
100%
that for
agree.
the image.
Yeah.
I can't put my finger on it, but I'm one high. I don't know why. It's not Mike's story. It's Sully and Boo's story. It's Sully who gets kicked out of. No, they both get kicked out of the monster
They
world,
both
don't
get
they?
kicked out, yeah.
Maybe I'm being unfair on Mike. Screw it. Billy Crystal wins.
That's it, isn't it? There's
It's as
something
simple as
about the
that.
character that is just charming. It has a special charm. And I nearly went for Sully because let's remember, in an artistic way, Sully was the first time we had moving, flowing fair, which is something to acknowledge through Monsters Inc. But still, yeah, Mike just tipped it for me. If you say Monsters Inc., I picture Mike before I picture Sully. I think that's also right.
Yeah. I had to think about that one. Do I picture Mike before I picture Sully? 100% yeah. 100% yeah. Dude, can't find it.
Comment below. Which one do you prefer and how? Why? It's tougher than you think.
Billy Crystal's the one, dude. So he was your 6, my 7, so on to my 6. Yeah, I'm happy with him at 6, actually. I've gone with Miguel from Coco.
Nice. Coco
I
very
think,
nearly made the list.
yeah, I think this is a
It
really,
hurt to tick it
really
off.
lovely. It's a lovely movie. Much like with The Good Dinosaur, it has its very specific moment, which nearly got me. It's when they're at that scene in the hammock where the guy's officially passing into the next life because his family have forgotten about him. And then when you think about that, that is such a universal message because death comes to us all, right? Death taxes in your case, comic books. Death comes to us all. And I don't know, man. Obviously I'm still young, so I am still in that stage where I'm afraid to die. But I'm much more afraid now that I've got a daughter, now that, I've got another one on the way. But, I would hate to be in a place where my progeny, my lineage ever forgot about me. Things like the way I sound, the way I smell, the way I behave, much the same way as I still very clearly the way my great grandmother smelled and felt and sounded. You don't want that to be forgotten. And what Pixar did was take that very real fear in that scene that every human, I think, deep down has and completely undressed it. And boy, was it vulnerable inducing. That one scene aside, do I love the premise of him going into On Dia de la Muerte to go and find his long lost relatives? I like the way they flip the script on you. The villain is not who you think it is. I thought that, and who is the villain is not who you expected. I was like, oh. Normally I catch these things, but they kind of veer. They gave me a veers moment on that. I was like, that one slipped under the radar. But yeah, I thought aesthetically it was beautiful. I thought the songs in it were stellar. Remember me. It's so good. It was a really interesting insight into a culture I'm not that familiar with. I like Mexican food. I like Mexican wrestling, but I'm not that deep in the culture that I know enough about it on this level. And from what I understand, it was really well received by the Mexican community. So I guess they did a good job of depicting it. So it was nice. And I thought Miguel was the heart and soul of the movie. So yeah.
Win. I like that.
My number 6.
That was your number 6, yeah?
Yes, sir.
My number 5. I'm going with the film Finding. It's Nemo because I felt by the time you get to Finding Dory, Dory does get a bit diminished, but Dory does get a lot of love from me.
That's your 5, yeah?
Yeah.
Also my 5.
Hey, good call. Good call. You've got to love Dory. Like even as I pressed, I was like, there is a lot to love of Marlon, but Dory's just Dory.
Marlon,
and like, you know what? He is, but you get again. There's an arc in this story by the time from who he was to what it was. But no, Dory. Credit to Ellen for owning Dory. Like, just made Dory everything. It's the way that you've got this fish with the shortest memory, pretty much short-term memory loss. It's literally amnesia,
It's
and
brilliant.
but knows how to communicate with people, knows how to build stuff. And that journey, like Nemo's not found without Dory. There is no essence of learning what family means outside of your actual family without Dory. Again, to a degree, it's not meta territory, but it's meta territory in the sense that yes, you are annoying to your main lead, this person along the journey. But again, in a film about it, you've got a film called Finding Nemo, where Nemo's essentially in a fish tank away from home. His dad is following him. So you've got the lead character, the title character, and then you've got essentially who should be the lead, the dad on the hunt for his son. This is essentially Liam Neeson in fish territory going after their kid. It's the secondary character essentially who took the lead, so much so that they had to build another film of, well, what is Dory's story? Where does Dory actually come from? Where is Dory's family, outside of the family that's been built? And it was just magic, talking. I can speak fit. What was it? I can speak whale. I can do this. I can do that. Dory is just comic relief, heartwarming, and just there, just ever present and just amazing. No, Dory was a win for me.
Dory was childlike innocence and never became annoying. That's what I like, because very few characters can get away with constantly, because it's a form of, when you've got a character with memory loss, it's a very cheap writing tactic to stretch out a paper thin character and a paper thin script. And it never felt like that with Dory. It's like, we're repeating things, but this doesn't feel unnecessary or forced. This actually feels nice. I like this. I care enough about this character to want her to remember. P. Sherman 42 Wallaby Way Road, City. She was very charming. I liked a lot of her quirks. I shall name it Squidgy, and it shall be mine, and it shall be my Squidgy. Hello, Squidgy. she's sweet. Also, as a scuba diver, can I please just now correct people? There is a fish called a powder blue tang. Let me just bring up the image of Dory again. It's one of those weird things that triggers me. Something rotten. If you're listening on podcast, I apologize. Just scroll to the moment in the video and you'll see. This is Dory, yes? This is the image of Dory I'm bringing up to you now. That as in Finding Nemo. Right. This is what everyone thinks is Dory. And it annoys the living bejesus out of me. You look at that and you go, oh, that's Dory. That's really cool. They've done it really accurately, right? Same shape, same tail, got the yellow mark. That is not Dory.
There's no black lines, though.
Here's Dory again. And now we go for that. Now let me show you Dory. This is Dory. So the one I just showed you is called a powder blue tang or a powder blue surgeonfish. Dory, contrary to everyone's belief, is a regal tang or a regal surgeonfish. That's Dory.
Is it in the same family, though? Out of interest.
Yeah, it's a tang. It's a surgeonfish.
Okay.
Look,
but I see you
again. Dory,
I see the
yellowtail, black
yeah.
marks. Yellowtail, black marks. People, get your fish right. Sorry, I'm done.
Do you know it's interesting, though? That really, when you look at it, what fish is Nemo?
Nemo, clownfish.
Yeah, clownfish hoo-ha, of course. Yeah. No, I'm gonna ignore me. I had a point that, but it doesn't stick to it. It's fine. But yeah, no, it doesn't stick at all. It doesn't stick at all. Right. But yeah,
you're number 4.
Right. You'll be happy to know, my friend, that it was not worse. Remy is actually my number 4.
What?
Because here's the thing.
Who are you as the real AJ?
While the film sticks in a very awkward territory for me, that gives me the heebie-jeebies, especially the last few scenes. When it came to films about culinary skills, and I watched the film from beginning to end for the first time, I appreciated what the film has. And while I look at this, there's a lot to redeem with Remy. Like Remy is the rodent that you don't want in your kitchen and shouldn't be in your kitchen. But what he does with Linguini is absolutely amazing. He has this passion for cooking, and the way he does it, and he breaks away from the norm. Yes, he's still loyal to his family. That is not that is nothing to be denied. You know, he wants to break away from the rat tradition, but he'll still feed them. He'll still go to visit. He'll still do what he does. You know, the final scene is still a shaker for me. Yeah, an S shaker. You get what I'm saying? I'm never going to be comfortable with that scene. But I do like Remy. I do like the relationship he has with Linguini, the relationship he has with the ghost of the restaurant that he aspires to work in, which he eventually does find himself working into. You know, the way he can create the ratatouille that gets to the connoisseur. Like there was a lot to there was nothing to really hate about Remy, short of the fact that he's a rat. Now, I'm not going to be animalist and be like, oh, I love this animal, I love this one. I just don't want rats in my kitchen. Remy tries to cook in my yard, it ain't happening. Rent-a-kill is on the call. However, in an animated world, you think I'm going to be comfortable with a rat pulling on these? No. Ain't happening. I could cook, bro. Out. Like, it is what it is.
Hey, this guy.
No. Remy as an actual character in an animated world, Pixar just went too close to home with what they done on the other side. But Remy as an actual character, I got love for you, bro. So yeah, you're my number 4.
Cool. My work here is done. Oh, very good. Then my number 4. I don't think you've seen this one yet. And it's one that I was very, very late to the party to, literally this year. Blew me away. I'm going to go with Carl Friedrichsen from Up.
So this is the film that I'm being honest with. I started Up, and when I found out about it today, I tried to watch it, but I was in the middle of doing 101 different stuff. So Up didn't get my full focus. The opening of Up is one of the most... I should really let you take the baton. No, I will let you take the baton, actually. Please. It's your number 4. Yeah, it's your number 4. You take the baton.
So I'm really happy you brought that up, because that's what everyone always brings up, is that opening 10 minutes. It's done as a silent movie, but you understand everything that's going on, and it's cinematic genius. And the criticism I've often heard is that, yeah, but after that 10 minutes, the movie just kind of falls off a cliff. What?
No.
What?
I wouldn't say that. So as someone who casually watched it today while literally popping in and out of my kitchen and doing my spring cleaning, because I may have guests at my house this Sunday, I wasn't expecting it to take the turn that it did, but I wouldn't say it was a bad movie. That's what I would say. It took a turn I did not expect.
Dude,
it's not a bad movie.
It's freaking fantastic. I was shocked because, for the exact reason I just mentioned, people underplay the rest of the movie so much, that I was expecting it to. And I agree that first 10 minutes is incredible, heartbreaking. And then I'm like, what else is there? Let's see what everyone else is on about. It's really good. He essentially goes and lives out the journey that him and the love of his life wanted to do together, and they waited too long to do. And this stubborn old man just kind of went, nah, F the world, I'm gonna go and do this. I don't care if I'm too old or can't move or can't leave the house. I'll take the house with me. F it. It's
there's so much redeeming qualities in it, and relationships, again, such a beautiful relationship building along this story in this film.
It's amazing. The rest of the movie, because of lengths he goes to achieve what he's done, if anything, make that first 10 minutes that much better. But
yeah,
the movie is incredible. Like, I don't know, it must have just got me on the right day, at the right time, in the right place, but it literally catapulted itself into top 5.
I'll agree with you on this, and I'm not gonna go into spoiler territory when I say this. It's the end of the film, but it's spoiler. It's not spoiler if you've not seen it. The award given at the end, I will agree with you, elevates the beginning. that elevates the beginning because it's I could go with that.
It's a special movie, man. It really is, and one I wish I'm glad I caught it when I did. I wish I'd seen sooner. So that was my that was my 4. Your 3.
All right, my number 3. So yes, here I am. I'm always going for the little underdogs, your Dories, your Maters, your Arlos. But the other side of AJ loves a Wolverine, loves a Batman, loves an anti-hero. And who better to show a character with a bit of edge than Anger from Inside Out? I love this guy.
So funny. I see Anger again as more of a secondary character, but that's fine. Carry on.
Really?
Yeah. For me, of the 5 emotions, only 2 of them were leads.
Well, I mean, okay, I get it in the sense, but to me,
that's my number 3, which is my girl Joy.
obviously, Joy is going to be the main lead. Joy was like the lead, and then you've got, I can't remember the young girl's name who they all live inside of, but
what, Riley?
Yeah, like Riley. Yeah, essentially, it's Riley, isn't it? It's Riley's emotions, and so you're going to see it, and then maybe to some degree, people go for Bing Bong. But to me, if you're talking about
Bing Bong's
the film is
100% a secondary character. You can't say Bing Bong is a lead character.
It's been a while.
You can't.
But I mean, to be honest, Joy is the lead character. You're going for Joy and Sadness.
Joy and Sadness. Joy and Sadness.
Naturally, they
think
will
about
be,
it.
but
the whole crux of the crux of the movie is that you need sadness to have joy, and your emotions can be mixed, and you can't have mixed emotions without these 2 cornerstone emotions. They are literally the premise of the movie.
I get that, and in that sense, yes, you're right. If we're going to play it that way, but the other way I'm playing this game is we're talking again. It's the emotions. Now, if it's with that, you've got the 4 emotions. I mean, it was joy, sadness, anger, and I don't want to say I can't remember the 4th one, but whoever it was, it's that they all have to, because they all compose your emotions. So by that,
envy and fear, isn't it? I'm sure it's fear and envy.
It's been a very, very long time since I've seen it, but I loved Anger. Way before TikTok was a thing, there was a thing called Musical.ly. And if you go back in time, there was a video of me saying, "Congratulations, New York, you ruined pizza." Because I just love
fear and disgust.
Fear and disgust. There we are. I do need to give Inside Out another watch. It's been a long time, and it's a one-time watch for me.
So
but
good.
I just loved I loved everything about Anger. Anger is the side that you don't see me let out a lot, but lives deep inside.
You know who plays Anger, right?
Hit me. I've got enough. No,
Lewis Black, who was one of the anchors on The Daily Show when Jon Stewart was running it.
I've never watched the Daily Show.
It's genius, dude. It's so funny. And he used to do these segments very much as Anger. So they'd take something topical and he would just unleash, literally like Anger, all hell, fire, and brimstone onto whatever the topic was. Oh, so you think you're going to get this president in the White House? Well, let me tell you something. It was literally like a real to life Vince McMahon. He's genius. Lewis Black, The Daily Show. Check him out.
I will check him out. I'm going to try to have a look at him because I don't know who he is. But I loved him. I just loved every moment of him. And I do appreciate that now that I think back at it. Yes, obviously we do follow Joy's story and what have you, but I just took all the emotions and I knew that was my guy when I watched the film. I just loved him to bits, man. Just the way he reacts to stuff, and it would be like, he'll explode, then cool down. But you knew that he was always an edge away from just popping again. I just loved it. I just loved it. So,
Joy was my girl, man. Because of again, you're going to see a lot of consistencies with the picks I have, but I like arcs. For me, those are proper felt lived in characters, like Lightning McQueen's arc between 1 and 3, like the arc that Dory goes through, in finding her family. I don't know. It's like Miguel goes through the ones I've mentioned. Essentially, I really like this arc that Joy goes through because essentially, if you break it down, she's a bit of a quasi villain. You know, she rules over this
Oh yeah, for sure.
imagination land. She rules over this imagination land. You know, this emotion land in this inside out land, kind of with an iron fist. Like, you know, it's kind of her way or the
She's buying her own
highway.
supply.
Completely. And no one else matters. She bulldozes everyone. Considering she's an emotion, she kind of lacks empathy, you know. It's literally only my way will do. And it was wonderful that, you know, sadness was the one that showed her completely unintentionally that, well, you kind of need all of us. For you to be what you are, you need us. And so the realization she has, which breaks her, you know, she's crying in front of our eyes at the end, and that makes Riley cry. And that's what's so powerful, you know, it's joy that makes Riley cry at the end. And it's like mixed emotions. Happiness can make you sad. Oh, Pixar! Oh, it's genius. It's freaking genius, that film. Yeah, Joy's my gal.
Cool. That was your number 3.
Yes, sir.
It's very interesting how our ranking has come in a way that, like,
very similar.
Yeah, very, very. Right, in at number 2, it's a guy you put me onto, and yeah, I love the guy, man. I love the guy. Wall-E.
Yeah, it's my number 2 as well.
I should have saved the line. Right. Yeah, look. Wall-E is because the more it's a beacon of hope. Yeah. It's a beacon of hope. There's nothing more I can say. Like, he doesn't have an S on his chest. No, he doesn't fly around like Clark. But he's a beacon of hope because Wall-E shows us that
big, pretty eyes, though, AJ.
Well, there you go. There you go. Maybe the superheroes to be unlocked. But like, for all that man is doing to this planet, this film just shows that we are destroying it. And this, you know, where AI and computers are running it, a computer will one day potentially be the thing that helps us rediscover our Earth, rediscover what we have, and save humanity from whatever the hell we're leading ourselves into right now. Like, I don't want to sound ominous. I don't want to sound like the guy who's got the tinfoil hat, but there's a lot to
study. Literally changed the topic of this podcast because of what's going on in the world. So,
yeah, like it's a lovable character, and the props I give to Wall-E, and I swear, and I say it each time, I thought I was not the target audience for this film. I was told, watch it. And I'm like, what, some dumb robot, bro? Like, what? Like, it's weird how sometimes, as much as we take anime, it's stupid. You ask me what's one of my favorite films, I'm going to tell you Terminator 2. Oh, so that android's perfect. Then I've got all the love in the world for Megan, but Wall-E, no, I'm not going to listen to that robot. It's weird the way we can process information. And then I remember the first time I gave this film a shot. And I was like, this is like a silent movie. I'm really gonna hate this. What, he doesn't talk? No, forget it. Like, true, I'm gonna do it AJ style. Dead that. No, I'm not on this. This is not for me. But I was like, see it through. Now, granted, some people say, AJ, but by that token, give it a chance. Maybe, but I'm just aware that film's gonna be
it sucks.
But Wall-E, on the other hand, oh, what a journey. And I swear, again, one-time watch, but what I've done with it, lasting impression, love it. And yeah, the title character gets the win for it. Like, he's a hero, man. He's the beacon of hope. Wall-E for the win.
My work here is done. Your worst.
Nothing to add?
Right, no, you've said it beautifully. Like, what do you want me to add to perfection? That was great. Your worst.
My worst. Look, from time and time again, when the Silver Screen dudes very first started, not even this channel, not even this pod, if you're listening, before all of that, we used to do silver screen news in a different format. And we heard the words Toy Story 4. And with that, we said, it's going to be awkward because 3 was a perfect ending.
Literally.
But we have faith that it can happen. And then the hero, essentially, of this story, or the one that we're meant to follow, is Forky. I have never come across... I don't believe there's a worse creation. I actually don't believe there's a worse creation. I just genuinely am disappointed. I feel that in trying to give us a film, we just had this character that was just so irrelevant. I get it in the sense that what I respected about
so
Forky,
recycled. That's what I, ironically, considering he's a freaking spork, but so recycled. Like a toy come to life with an existential crisis who doesn't realize he's a toy. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Lightyear just called for his bloody idea back.
Yeah. I just found it like I respect the fact that we're saying creativity from the drawings and the toys we made as kids, like coming from a guy who made multiple wrestling belts and made different stuff with paper. Yes, it's cool to think that that is also considered a toy and can come to life. But for us to follow this journey and for it to be this suicidal, irrelevant character while they have a bigger journey going on, he was just a hindrance.
Yeah.
And where there's major love for Forky, I think I could love Forky had you just minimized it. The same way, and this is the thing, where Toy Story has so many other toy characters who have willingly taken second place, film after film after film, you know? You've tried to push this guy to the forefront, and it's just like, you've got no place in this story. Forky, I think, would be interested to be like something that's there and kind of messes up, and it could have been lovable like Dory, and then do all the Forky series spin-offs that you want to do, all the little shorts, and there he's going through it, and each week a different character's trying to save his life. I'll be on it. We're going on this road trip, and we've got this thing that's just, he would have been dead a long time ago. I'm telling you, just jump. It's not part of the story. It was just not part of the story, and that's what made it weak.
He belongs in the River Tyne, mate, that one.
Yeah, it was just, it was done. We had too much of a character build in this to try and enter a new character with zero relevance.
Toy Story 4 should not have happened. Toy Story 4 should not have happened. My worst. Very easy for me. It's funny because you've picked a rip-off of Buzz Lightyear. I've picked a rip-off of Aladdin's Jasmine. Merida from Brave. I've got no time for this character. I cannot tell you how much I have no time for this character. Where I've got no problem with From Dusk Till Dawning a movie. Give me one thing and then halfway through flip the movie on its head. But don't build me up to care for this girl who is effectively a carbon copy of Jasmine. I don't want to marry a prince. I don't want to marry a prince. I swear down you've stolen that line. Like, all these suitors coming in to see you and you showing that none of them are good enough for you. I'm like, girl, set the tiger on them at this point, because Raj is calling and he's like, I can come to Scotland. Like, what are we doing? The fact that her hair is the same color as the tiger is all that. I was like, no, you're taking the royal tiger Mickey here, aren't you? And then like half an hour into the movie, it kind of does what Soul did. And it just goes dumb. The parent bear, like, becoming personified and having to cartoonishly run away. I'm like, oh, I don't like it when Pixar go too cartoony. I don't mean cartoon as a form of animation. I mean cartoony as in slapstick, ham-fisted. I think it's beneath them. Yes, they need a bit of a recovery in the because since the tutelage of Mr. Bob Chapek, Pixar has taken a bit of a quality dive. Also, audiences don't watch it as much because it's now on Disney Plus, which means people aren't as interested because that's how we work. If it's in cinema, it's special. If it's on TV, less so. they went ham-fisted on this. Like, you can't for 30 minutes tell me that this movie's about a young girl fighting patriarchy and then go freaking Goldilocks on me. Like, what are we doing?
See, I remember watching Brave and not hating it. I dare I say I enjoyed it. One of my biggest problems with Brave, though, and I know it's not going to be a problem to you in any shape because the story bugs you more. I hated the fact that they changed her appearance to fall more in line with the other Disney princesses. I think I don't know if they changed it back actually because there was a lot of backlash over it, you know. But they made her a slimmer figure and whatnot to be that line where
Oh, no kidding.
I appreciate that she broke the norm of what a Disney princess looked like, and that's something that stood out for me. And she was the lead character. You know, don't get me wrong. You've got in a world where you've then got Tangled and you've also got Frozen. Yes, there are other female leads. We've got Moana, how you can even call Ariel, but she was out there to put the fight out, and that I think I respected for it. And you know, in its weird territory, I also like the fact of how Pixar like to be diverse in stuff. Like we do Scotland, you know, May's Canada, Luca in Italy. Is it Pablo? I can't remember his name, but from Coco, you've got
Miguel.
Mexico. You know,
Miguel.
they Miguel, sorry. Yeah, you know, it shows diversity. It gives you a hero from different backgrounds and stuff like that. So I found a lot of good takeaways from it. I understand what you're saying. It's a very bit of a blip to me. You telling me someone turned into a bear and something. I think we're mixed because I do recall, like, you could see where the story's going and that part happened. And then I've got elements of maybe Brother Bear, because the Brother Bear has someone who then turns into it. Like, I can't remember it, but I remember seeing tropes of different films. And this is where I feel you get people throwing shade on later cinema. And I say later cinema, it's not that we were here at the beginning of cinema, but you see stuff and you just feel like a lot of stuff are being recycled and people say that it lacks creativity. In that sense, I can understand the hate because I feel like I knew the beats that were coming. But I do have respect and love for Merida for various reasons at the time. I was like, this isn't too bad. That's the way I felt of it. It wasn't like my favorite film or anything, but it had redeeming qualities for me.
No, it didn't work for me, I'm afraid. Right, your best. It's tough, isn't it?
It is tough. It's tough. But I went with Buzz. I went with Buzz Lightyear. I don't know if it's because Buzz has the Lightyear movie on top. Funny enough, I think there's a degree of the arc that you talk about when it comes to Buzz. From being completely unaware, completely unaware and being high on his own supply, being like, very much the Superman character. I'm holier than thou, and no one can stop me, and Buzz Lightyear, and just completely unaware and just refusing to believe he's a toy when everyone else is around him showing him that. Let's take it to Toy Story 2, looking at another version of himself and being like, is that who I was? And fitting in, finding himself from being the Starship Trooper and that's his crew to having a family and being Andy's toy. By the time you get to number 3, like, put it this way, the fact that you haven't punted, I think I could guess where you're going on this, or said, yes, that's your number 1. Like, it's very rare that it's not going to be that. But this is very much Batman and Superman. This is very much Captain America and Iron Man. It's the 2 leaders, and you're going to just lean to one. And I can understand the other side, but there is something about, but I think it's just the expansion of Buzz through what he was. Normally, I think I would have gone with your number 1. I think normally my heart would go that way because he's the more calmer, sympathetic. But every now and again, I don't know, I get a little ego boost. And that's what I love about Buzz. It's the realization of who he is and becoming part of it. And I don't know, it's just something that just gives me that extra edge with Buzz.
Interesting. Very interesting. I get it. Well, you've guessed my number 1. It's from the same franchise. Woody. I've gone with Woody. Look, here's my reasoning behind it. You mentioned arc. Does Buzz have an arc? In one movie, yes. The arc he goes through in Toy Story 1 is incredible. Woody, what I love about him is multi-layered. He goes through individualistic arcs in the 3 separate movies and has an overall arc that runs through the 3 movies, which Buzz lacks. That's why I went with him. So the first movie, it's very much kind of like the Lightning McQueen thing, the Rocky thing is he's not the hot toy on the block. He's not the fastest car. He's not the best boxer. He's not that anymore. He's, he's a little bit yesterday's news.
Also a hint of joy from Inside
completely.
Out. Yeah,
completely. I mean, we're going deep here. What was it? Shakespeare who said ultimately there's only 7 stories, right? So, I mean, there's going to be some recycled material here, but it wasn't Shakespeare. Who the hell said there's only 7 stories? Mark Twain? I don't know. Someone very affluent and more intelligent than me said there's only 7
I thought it was one of the
stories.
screeners who said it previously on the channel. I didn't know it was actually someone bigger than that, but okay.
No. It's someone affluent. The story arc in the first movie is obviously he has to come to terms with the fact that he's not the hot toy on the block anymore, but having the serenity to realize that he's still loved and needed, which is why the first one ending where it does, both of them sitting level pegging and him kind of joking with him like, Buzz, you're not really worried about a toy. What could be worse than you? Puppy. And it's that look of acknowledgement they both give each other at the end going, yeah, we're equal in this. Flub. They know what's up. And then you look at his arc in the second movie. He realizes, much like in, Room, there is a world outside of Andy's. He knows he's a toy, but despite being aware that he's a toy, his bubble, his existence is only centered around being a toy for this one person, not realizing, like many of us do, that there is a potentially greater calling in life. But then it raises into question like, well, what is greater? The joy that you bring to the person who loves you the most and that you equally love the most, or the fact that you've got all of this unfulfilled potential and almost self-fulfilling prophecy that needs to be achieved. And then you come to the third one, but let's not be under any illusion. That's his arc.
Oh, yeah.
You realize that it's he, despite all of Buzz's flash and flare, when they're going through the 7 circles of hell and Dante and you think they're about to bite it, he's the one that makes them all hold hands. And also, think about this. The first ever shot in a fully computer-generated movie, Toy Story, in 1995, it panned back and we saw Woody's face, and it panned back, right? Woody was the first thing we ever saw. How did the story end? So long, partner. It starts and ends with Woody. He's the guy. It has to be Woody.
Do you know what? With that, I will give you a lot of credit. Do you know what I think also bugs me? Is because when you say so long, partner, is that Toy Story 4, isn't it? 3. I think it's
that's when Andy's given him to the girls, and he gathers them all on the balcony as Andy's driving away, tips his hat and says, so long, partner.
Do you know what I think tipped it for me now that I think about it again more? I think Toy Story 4, seeing him leave the gang, not that he had to stay with them. I understand the journey that was there, despite every time being the one to keep everyone together, kind of soured me.
Oh, completely. It betrayed his arc so badly.
Yeah, and I think that's what kind of soured it for me. If I'm on it, the more like I'm listening to everything you're saying, and it's such a valid point. Again, I've layered it down to the duo of dual leadership in stuff, kind of like the silver screen dudes are to the Ministry of Wrestling. But taking that aside, it's
that shot will go unnoticed. Don't worry.
I'm sure someone will hear it. Probably the tech out of all of them, but hey,
the tech may hear it. Yeah.
But taking that aside, it just really hurt seeing it at the end. I was like, we've done this just to get rid of Woody. Like, why? We had a thing of there's a new journey for them under a new ownership, and what they've got and talked about for number 5. I keep hearing the similar trope of an older Andy and what have you, but you've ruined it. 5 should have been 4. 5 should have been 4 if we're going to.
You've ruined it because the other thing you've got to think about here, where 2 was so interesting, is because it highlighted that ultimately the emotional capacity of a toy is to be giving. Toys can't be self-serving. You know, yeah, there was a moment where Woody had that crisis of conscience where he was like, well, maybe Jesse and the Roundup gang need me and I should go and just never be played with again. But then he realized, well, no, literally I'm a toy. My purpose is to be played with and to bring joy to my owners. 4 betrays that so badly because remember, he doesn't go for anything other than himself.
Yeah.
He wants to be with Bo Peep. Forgive me. We've shown that they're friends and that him and Bo Peep have got a, Pepe Le Pew style thing going on. But at no point have we been told in this fantastic trilogy arc that the toys are capable of doing anything more than being there for their owners. And yet here we are in 4 where he's gone and there's no owner. I'm like, you're not just betraying the ending of 3. You are literally betraying the ethos of what you have told us for 3 movies. This is bad.
Do you know what makes it worse? We are now led to believe that in this story, because again, if we are to play 5, that means they have to go back to find Woody to bring him back to Andy. But more to the point, this poor young girl has lost Woody, the potential leader, for this guy. And with that, I just leave it because that's what you're telling me. Forky replaced Woody. If anything's to go on, Woody stayed back and he's okay with leaving her because she has Forky. I'm just leaving it there for anyone who thinks Toy Story 4 is a good film.
It's terrible. And yeah, I think the way I've rounded it up, Roundup gang, the way I've rounded it up kind of, I think shows that it's, if anything, of all of them, it's Woody's arc.
I can work with that.
It's Andy's story. That's the beauty of it. It's Andy's story, but it's Woody's arc.
100%.
So
right now, Rushmore is interesting because
Wally goes in and Dory goes in.
Yeah.
So Wally and Dory automatics.
And Mike.
Damn, Mike Wazowski makes it in.
Oh, do you know who else? Remy. It has spoken for itself.
This feels wrong.
It feels extremely disrespectful.
So much.
Extremely disrespectful. But counter it.
Remy? Woody? There's your counter. But counter to the counter. You put Woody or Buzz in there, they're cleaning shop.
They're going to win. They're going to instantly win.
So
I think we should do that because Toy Story is a natural.
So the movie Mount Rushmore of Pixar characters, excluding the Toy Story franchise.
I like it. And it wasn't even intended that way, guys. It wasn't even intended that way. And I think luck had it.
Wally is going to go Wally, Dory,
Remy's
Mike.
Probably last. You reckon
Mike's last? I reckon Mike's last.
I reckon Remy will take the last. I reckon Dory's winning. I reckon it's Dory.
You think Dory's winning? I think Wally's winning.
Dory's first or second? Guaranteed.
Second, yes. You know what? I'm actually fascinated by this. This is interesting. Let's go with it.
Let them fight.
Let them fight. Ladies and gentlemen, the official movie Mount Rushmore of Pixar characters, excluding The Toy Story franchise, in no particular order, is
Remy. I'm just reading it back.
Our second entry is
Mike Wachowski from Monsters, Inc. and University.
Our third entry is
Dory of Finding Nemo and Dory.
our final entry into the movie Mount Rushmore of Pixar characters, excluding Toy Story, is
Wally. Do you know that might actually be the order? Wally, Dory, Mike, Remy. It may well be the order the way I've typed it there without even knowing it. Okay, guys, this is going to be very interesting. Head on over to X at Movie MT Rushmore, the home of the Silver Screen Dudes. But more importantly, we will be tweeting JT from We Love Movies at Movie Pulse for You. So head on over to at Movie Pulse for You. You're only going to get one vote, so choose whichever page you go to. It doesn't matter. And next week, we will announce the winner of a very, very interesting battle. It's so weird. So weird how this came about. Did not see it coming. Right. And it just shows how the Silver Screen Dudes have this weird balance of it, because it could have been, had the game been any other, it definitely would have been Woody or it definitely would have been Buzz had we both gone down the same route. Just saying. Hey.
In hindsight, based on the arguments, would you stick with Buzz or go with Woody? Have I done enough to convince you?
I like what you're saying. I like what you're saying, but I also feel that Buzz was quite instrumental in like, as much as Woody knew it for himself, Buzz was quite instrumental in bringing him back in number 2 as well. I need to really rewatch these films as much as I've got a lot of love for them. It's that co-leadership, bro. It's that co-leadership, and it's weird because Woody is the one I would tend to gravitate to. But again, look, sometimes my ego takes over, sometimes my heart takes over. 99% of the time, I thought I was going to be Team Iron Man. I was Team Cap. Didn't see it coming. I think the only one we agree on, I think the only time we agree on co-leadership is when we both say Batman over Superman, unless you are going to tell me Superman, in which case then we have the third at each time. This is the Silver Screen Dudes, guys. We've always been this way. One is Arsenal, one is Chelsea, one is Raw, one is SmackDown. Well, it used to be. I don't know what show I'm on now. But it's just how we've done it. It's just how we've done it through the history of our relationship. And essentially, thank God for that, because it eliminated Toy Story from the running, because it would have just been a clear-cut winner. So, yeah, guys, head on over to the X pages. But more importantly, head on over to at Movie Mount Rushmore. Press that notification. Press that follow, that like, that bell, because you will hear the win next week, because I'm intrigued. I can't call it. I'm intrigued. So until the next time, guys, and again, tell a friend to tell a friend. We're available on Spotify and all your podcast platforms, as well as here on YouTube. So until the next time, guys, I am the one AJ Anthony Jordan.
I'm Nico LaRope. See ya.
We out. See ya.